they always said I'm wrong, but what they doing today? I think they want me gone, but I ain't going away. They told me I was wrong, but look at my ass today. Da 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 da.
Hello, what's up? Once again on the Real Sports Talk Network, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on our website, realsportstalk.wordpress.com, wherever. What's good on the internet? What's good in life? I'm Ally495, aka Akiem Balaam. Remember when the USA men's basketball team opened up a can of you-know-what all over Nigeria, 156-73, and they set records, had records fallen left and right, individual as well as team records, all fell in that game, which really, well, of course, wasn't really much of a game. Well, Gino Auriemma, the coach of the United States women's basketball team, must have been in the Olympic Village, and they must have watched the tape from that game. And you know what? Let's see if what our male counterparts did to Nigeria, let's see if we can do that to China. And oh boy, did they ever, with a 114-66 victory. Huge victory in terms of the point total over the Chinese. 114 points actually matches what they once did in a game in 1992, which is a team record when you talk about the United States women's basketball team. That's a record that they set in 1992 when they played the Spanish team, I believe it was, back in 1992 in the Barcelona games, but they fell short of setting a record of 128 points, which was set by Brazil when the Brazilian women's national team once played against Japan at the 2004 games at the birthplace of the Olympic Games in Athens, Greece. Now, the way that this game had turned out, for a while it was rather close. The women's team is, in sort of like the men's team in a sense that sometimes they will play close games, sometimes they have blowouts. It's not as imposing as it is with the men's team, but they have games where the other team just doesn't belong in the same court, or doesn't even belong in the same zip code as them. So you have that, you have all this, and for a while the game was actually close between the U.S. women and China. For a while, Nan Shen as well as Shou Yun-song, who is doing most of the scoring. In fact, Shou Yun-song wound up with 15 points for China. Nan Shen wound up with 16. And by the way, Shou Yun-song also wound up with 4 assists for the Chinese. So they were doing most of the scoring for that first quarter. And for a while, it was actually close. It was 31-28 U.S. at the end of the first quarter. But after that, the rout was on. At halftime, all of a sudden, what was a close game and what seemed like would actually be a nail-biter turned into a rout. It turned into yet another USA basketball laugher as they outscored the Chinese 30-8 in the second quarter, and then following up that with a third quarter performance. At the end of the third quarter, it was 48-90. It was 94-48. They outscored the Chinese 30-8 in the second quarter, and they outscored the Chinese 33-12 in the third quarter to bring it to 94-48. In other words, the rout had become so much that they almost doubled up on the Chinese. And we all know what the men did to Nigeria. They more than doubled up at them at the end of that game. So the point total wasn't as imposing as it was, but still a huge victory in terms of point totals for the United States women's basketball team. Here's some other stats that I want to just throw out at you. Diana Taurasi wound up with 22 points. Angel McCautry wound up having a huge game for the U.S. 16 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Also 12 points for Maya Moore as well as 7 rebounds. So a huge victory in terms of point totals, a definitely imposing and dominant victory from the United States women over China, which actually brings an end to preliminary play, which actually brings an end to what they call pool play to see how they do against the other teams in their pool. And it turns out that the United States has a plus 186 point differential against all the other teams that they played in their respective pool. Those teams are China, Turkey, the Czech Republic, Croatia, and Angola. So they have that going for them going into the knockout rounds. Also, they're of course in Group A, and they're undefeated. They're 5-0. It turns out that they are 5-0 in group play. But also, France is 5-0 in their group, in Group B, against Australia, Russia, Canada, Great Britain, and Brazil. So what the U.S. has done in Group A, France has done the equivalent in terms of the records in Group B. Now, the point differential for France is nowhere near what it is for the United States, obviously, but still, it's going to be interesting to see heading into the knockout rounds. Of course, the United States should win the gold medal. I don't remember the last time that the United States did not win the gold medal, but they are the defending gold medal champions, so we should once again lock this in and bring home the gold for our women, as our men ought to as well. So, what you think? Did you see that game? Did you see any of that game between the U.S. and China, or was it just so much of a blowout that you just probably turned it off by midway through the third quarter? So, rate, comment, react, reply. Once again, add and subscribe. Look forward to reading your comments. As always, I'm just one guy talking about all the things about the London 2012 Olympics. So until next time, LI495, real sports talk, talking Olympics, talking Olympic basketball. On the ladies' side, see you on the internet someplace.
Just a little bit around the corner from fear. Be there